Hello. Testing coronavirus 2 or SARS-CoV-2, commonly called COVID-19, is critical, and I am here today to introduce you all to a method of testing that is affordable, simple, and readily available to the masses of people today. It is called the Covid-19 Classifier, and it uses chest x-rays as a method for testing. But let me not get ahead of myself. I want to give you a little background. Before the world was ever gripped by the coronavirus, the Global Health Security Index rated every country on its pandemic preparedness, and the average overall score across the globe was 40.2 out of 100. The highest score for any country was the United States, with a score of 83.5. Now, several months into this pandemic, the US has surpassed 1 million confirmed coronavirus cases, and this number continues to grow, day by day, hour by hour, and minute by minute. How is the most powerful country in the world, with the world's best engineers, health experts, and diagnostics, now the hardest hit by this pandemic? Experts point to 3 critical factors. 1. We delayed lockdowns. 2. Lack of essential protective equipment for hospitals. And 3, and perhaps the most critical, the lack of testing. Let me put this into perspective for you. South Korea has tested 100,000 people, and these testing results provided South Korea with the data to make informed decisions. So when comparing the infection curves of the United States with a country like South Korea, it is no surprise, nor may I add no coincidence, that South Korea's curve has flattened expeditiously, while ours here in the United States remains high. This is not to say we have not ramped up testing in the United States. It is just that our testing resources are inadequate to deal with the enormity of the situation at hand. Look, we have a country of nearly 330 million people, and in order to test all of the people in every small town, city, or metropolitan area in this country, it is challenging to say the least. So while our politicians, hospitals, and the entire medical community is doing all they can to provide a testing solution for all of us, our current testing capabilities are still severely lagging behind what is needed to reopen the country. According to the COVID Tracking Project, we are performing 360,000 tests per day, while we should be performing as much as 700,000 tests. Right now, we are nowhere near that number. People want to find out if they have the virus now, not in days or weeks from now, but right now. So we have developed an approach that is used in China and some hospitals in Italy. This approach uses X-rays and CAT scans to test for the virus. Again, it is not a novel idea. It is being used in China, and it allows for widespread, easy-to-use, and relatively cheap testing for a mass of people. It expedites the testing process for the millions of people across the country who just want to know quickly whether they have the virus or not. It allows us to implement contact tracing to identify who has the virus and who does not. It allows us to act now, not tomorrow. What's the alternative? Wait. Wait for the current test to be widely available. Let me explain how the current tests work. The current standard for coronavirus testing is the reverse transcription polymerase chain reaction, or RT-PCR test. To test someone, you first have to swab deep into their throat and nose to collect cells that potentially have the virus. This PCR testing is the gold standard for testing viruses because the process is highly sensitive. It can detect even a tiny amount of virus in a sample. So if you have the opportunity to do the PCR test, I encourage you to do it. But the majority of us do not have these PCR tests available to us. It is not a test that every hometown hospital may perform. And moreover, labs require federal approval to perform the coronavirus PCR tests. So what do we do when there are just not enough of these federally approved labs to keep up with current demand for testing? This is where the Covid-19 Classifier comes in. The Covid-19 Classifier uses chest x-rays. Understand that a chest x-ray is the most commonly ordered imaging study for patients with respiratory complaints. So how does the Covid-19 Classifier work? It is simple, cost-effective, and most importantly, it is a tried and tested method. I know I have repeated myself several times. It is the method of mass testing used in China, where they have a population of 1.4 billion people. The Covid-19 Classifier compares the results of X-rays of those people who have tested positive for COVID with those who want to be tested, and bingo, the comparison test is an indicator that your test X-ray has the same results as those positive with COVID-19. Suspicious results of the classifier are a valuable indication that a patient may have COVID-19. So what's next? Let's fight this together. Let's not wait for weeks, months, or perhaps even years for a PCR test to be ready. Instead, let's use our x-rays and CAT scans and upload the images uploaded to the classifier available at www.covid19-classifier.com, where you may receive your results instantaneously. If you are classified as positive, you have the information to go out and seek immediate medical attention. Fill out the contact form on www.covid19-classifier.com if you have any questions, and we will get in touch with you.